Ever stop to think that the watch on your wrist could be more than just a way to tell time? Today, we're going to dive into how certain Omega watches aren't just luxury items. They're actually valuable, liquid assets. Basically, powerful financial tools you can wear every single day.
So, let's really think about this for a second. Go ahead, look at the watch you're wearing, or maybe the one you've been dreaming about. Is it just a beautiful piece of machinery to you?
Well, it turns out that for a whole lot of owners, the right Omega watch is exactly that, a super liquid and reliable financial tool. And what that means is you can turn it into cash pretty quickly and predictably if you ever need to. This is that cool spot where watch collecting and smart finance meet, and we're going to unpack it all.
Okay, first up, let's talk about the big guns, the household names. These are the watches that pretty much everyone recognizes. Their value is so well known around the world that they're a pawnbroker's dream.
And right at the top of that list, you've got the legend itself, the Omega Speedmaster Professional. You probably know it as the Moonwatch. It's an absolute icon in the watch world, and for a very, very good reason. If you look at the secondary market here in the UK, you're going to see this watch consistently sell for somewhere between £4,000 and £6,500. That stability is everything. It means there's a real, tangible value you can count on, and that's exactly what makes it such a solid asset for both owners and lenders. So what's driving that value? It really comes down to one word: provenance. It's the story, right? The history behind it. And its incredible, verifiable story as the first watch on the moon, well, that's the engine that keeps demand so high. For a lender, that story makes it a no-brainer. It's an asset with immediate, recognizable worth.
Next up, we've got an icon of a totally different flavor, the Omega Seamaster Diver 300M. This thing is a titan in the watch world, mixing serious professional dive watch specs with some major cinematic cool.
And yeah, its value totally reflects that status. Standard editions hold a really strong price on the secondary market, usually somewhere between £3,500 and £5,000. So it's another one of those super liquid models that makes for a very reliable piece of collateral.
And this just goes to show you the power of cultural significance. Being known as the Bond watch creates this constant, never-ending appetite from buyers. And that, in turn, means you're going to get very competitive loan offers on it. It's not just a watch, it's a piece of pop culture history.
All right, let's move on from the big icons and step into the collector's corner. Now, these are the watches people hunt for, not just because of the brand name, but because they have a unique design or history that really speaks to a dedicated, passionate community.
A perfect example of this is the vintage Omega Constellation, specifically what collectors call the pie pan models. This watch is just a true classic of mid-century design. It's pretty amazing how a single design choice, this pie pan dial, can create such a dedicated following. And as more and more people around the world have gotten into vintage mid-century watches, this classic piece has just become an increasingly stable and really desirable asset.
Okay, so now we get to the models that do more than just hold their value. These are the modern heavy hitters, the ones that have appreciated like crazy. Think of them as the blue-chip investments of the Omega universe. And this is where the numbers just get mind-blowing. Like we said, a standard Moonwatch is a great asset. But the Ed White, that's the specific reference worn during the first American spacewalk, well, that's in a whole different league. That kind of rare history can cause a 500% or even bigger jump in value at auction. It's wild.
And if you thought that was impressive, check out the Snoopy Award editions. The source material calls these a blue chip asset, for good reason, because they made so few and the competition to get one is so intense, their market value has just skyrocketed way past the original retail price. They are one of the hottest collector's items on the planet right now. So, we've seen which models are so valuable. But now for the big question, why? What's the actual formula here? What gives these specific watches so much financial power in the eyes of experts and lenders?
Well, it really boils down to 5 key things. First, you've got the foundation, the brand's credibility from over 100 years of innovation, and the liquidity from a global market that's always ready to buy. Then you've got the things that multiply the value. The provenance, just having the original box and papers can boost value by up to 30%, and the rarity of special editions. And finally, you've got that magic ingredient, cultural resonance. Those unforgettable stories from NASA to James Bond that turn a great watch into a true icon. So, when you put it all together, the big takeaway is this. Owning the right watch isn't just a hobby or an expense. It's a strategic asset. It's where a passion for watches meets smart financial thinking. It's something you can really enjoy that also happens to hold real, tangible, and accessible value. You know, this source material really sums it up perfectly. It's this unique mix of factors, collectability, great tech, and just being known everywhere that makes Omega such a pillar of the luxury market, trusted by owners and lenders all over the world.
And that really leaves us with one last question to think about. After seeing how history, design, and culture can turn a simple timepiece into a powerful asset, it kind of makes you wonder, doesn't it? What hidden value might be sitting there waiting in your own collection?